Damps.
Okay. Franco, do your intro.
Welcome to the show.
I'm guaranteeing people if they wear these capes that they'll 100% get at least one person tip them better. 100%.
Yeah, somebody actually reads it and they ask about it, for sure.
Yeah, they'll feel like they're held accountable.
So do you guys feel like your tips are good?
My tips are good.
I think like 98% of my clients tip.
Did you have to teach people that, or was that just something that like a lot of clients just came in knowing off the bat?
Here they know. Like when I was cutting in Australia, they don't tip at all. They don't have a tipping culture. Prices, everything is included, taxes, whatever. So when I was there, they would actually tip me. Some guys would tip me like $10, and I was like $10 over there is like huge. You know, my boss was like, "Yo, bro, like they don't even tip me, and they're giving you all the tips." That was the fun part of it. I could just be myself, and they were just showing that kind of appreciation, which is shown here too. You know, I get like $10. Yo, like one guy gave me $100 for a haircut, and so he gave me $55 in tip. You know?
Yeah.
And that felt awesome because he's like, I can't give you this every time, but like I appreciate you. You know? And you're like, that's what it's all about.
Even if it's just that one time where they tip you like super extraordinary.
Yeah, you know, like that's kind of what you want. You know, you want someone to appreciate you. The conversation I hate the most is when people try to argue with me about prices of haircuts. And it's almost like, yo, you don't go to a restaurant and argue with the chef because you can make better pasta. You buy it and you eat it.
What was the best tip you ever got? Both of you guys?
That one, yeah. $55. Well, when we were doing the sliding scale, that was like
pretty hard
that was like next level. Yeah, a guy gave me 130 for a cut. So he gave me like 100, maybe 15 plus like a 20% tip. You know, it was crazy.
What about?
I think it was like $30.
How does it make you feel when somebody doesn't tip?
I used to get very upset, but then I just realized, you know, for some people, bro, it's like all they can afford is a cut.
Yeah.
And even if it's just $2 and they give you $2, you're like, I'll take it. I think it's worse when somebody gives you 50 cents.
I know it's like coming from a nice place, but it feels like disrespectful.
Yeah.
Bro. On next level.
Well, the worst is when they give you $2 and they're giving you that face like,
I tipped you.
yeah, like appreciate it, bro.
It's a little whack.
Yeah.
So why do you think people have so much trouble raising their haircut prices?
Confidence?
I think it's culture.
Culture and confidence.
Yeah, I think the culture itself has no confidence. You have certain shops that are in certain neighborhoods and they can't go just from one price to the next, which is justified. But I think the trend today is creating, barbershops are brands now. Like every shop is its own brand, its own vibe. Especially with social media tells a story. That's why people are addicted to social media. They want to see a story that's happening in real time. It's like reality TV on steroids. By doing all these things, creating this kind of interaction with their clients, this kind of service with their clients, it comes with a price tag, man. Like like prices have gone up, you know, like clippers.
At the end of the day, it's not just a haircut anymore.
No, it's not, you know, and you know, just look at clipper prices, bro. They've like tripled. So why are haircut prices the same if you gotta buy like a new clipper when the battery dies?
Those guys' clippers were $500 each yesterday.
Yeah.
I was insane just holding them.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Like you were saying, like he had his month's rent in just 2 clippers or just 1 clipper, bro, and you're like, yo, that's insane. So it's like clipper companies don't give a f. They want
it's not about giving a f. They're business.
Yeah.
I think the other end of it is
they don't.
The barber like culture is not seen as a business. It's run like on passion. So the fact that it's run on passion, it becomes like art. And then when you talk about art, there's a lot of confidence issues when it comes to business. The business of art.
It's so saturated. People think that they shouldn't charge what they're worth. So they're letting other people dictate the market. Like, you even look at movies, bro, like, every visual effects company is to the lowest bidder, not the highest bidder.
Yeah.
So they sell themselves sometimes really short. They don't even make money, just so they can be on the movie. You know, that's whack. Hollywood wouldn't survive with these guys, yet they're underselling themselves. And the same thing goes for cutting hair. It's like, nobody can get a haircut if they don't go to the barber. You know, okay, you can cut your own hair, but like, it's not the same.
Emily, when you first jumped in, when you thought about money at the beginning of it, what did you expect?
What do you mean?
Like, did you forecast? Did you look at the future and be like,
I thought I wasn't gonna make money for so long. I didn't think I'd be making money this fast, basically.
Why did you think that you thought like that?
Because I didn't have the confidence.
Like when you looked at the industry before, did it look like an industry that you can make money in, period? Or did it come across as like something people do for fun?
Well, that's the thing. As like before I even thought about barbering, like when I was a client or when I
Well, when you started considering it, like first you're like, yo, this is dope. It looks cool.
That's all it was, honestly. I was just like, the vibe is so nice. I like the energy, but I didn't think of it as something that would be so big for me.
And what do you think changed, like in terms of you over like 8 months, right? 9 months?
Yeah.
So what do you think changed in terms of you feeling like you're worth, because we spoke about that too, you felt like you're worth more than what you're charging right now even.
Yeah, I just feel like once I started to see myself get better and once I realized I was getting better, that's when it became like solid for me that I wanted to continue.
Okay, and then, so right now you charge
35.
And how much do you feel like you're worth?
Oh wait, I don't know, I mean...
No, one answer, you can tell me one number, you don't have to...
No, but I can't put a number to it, you know, like... Because my $35 service is going to be different from somebody else's $35 service.
Don't compare yourself to anybody. I just say right now you're at
It's not a comparison. I'm just saying. For me, I just feel like I do have better value, but I don't have a number.
$100.
Okay,
no.
So if you're in, okay,
no, you should go for $100. You know, like you should always charge what you think it should be charged. Period.
Well, I think good haircuts in general should get to a point where you're not cutting hair for under $70, $80. You know, good haircuts, good service. Like you're taking time out of your day. If you take an hour for a haircut, beard trim, and you're really like making that service the best it could be.
Yeah, it should be like $80 to $100.
You know, like at that point, barbers should be paid by the hour. You pay me for your hour of work that I'm doing.
Franco, what would you like your prices to be?
Ideally, my base price would be $100 an hour, depending on the work. If I do more work, it's more time, more energy. Like if it's a more intricate service, then it's more time, more money for my time, you know? But I would start basic $100 an hour for a cut. So if the haircut itself takes me an hour, it's $100. If it's like haircut and beard, $120, just because I'm gonna be doing more work. Charging for your time is where the industry should be going, because then they're gonna value the work you put in and not just equate a haircut to a price. They're gonna equate your skill and your time to a price, and that's what it should be. The most annoying thing is when somebody walks in and say, well, I can get a haircut from this woman at $16.
Like, great, then go there.
And it's like, that makes sense. That's what she's charging. That's a haircut. Not every haircut's the same for every person. And people know that. If you've been getting haircuts for a while, which most people have, they understand that it really is the person cutting their hair, not the haircut itself. So they're not buying a Walmart mass made in a factory product. They're getting something that you're giving them, which is art. So why should that art be valued because they want to pay a specific price?
So what's the next level? What's the next level to this? Like just in terms of what do you guys want to get better at? Yeah, would you change anything right now if you were going to charge? But this is a question for both of you guys. If you guys are in charge $100, would you change anything about your service right now?
Yeah, 100%.
For sure.
100%.
I feel like it would happen subconsciously.
Like you would have.
There's nothing I could put on the list right now that I would say I would change, but I think it would happen subconsciously.
Well, I would wash every client's hair.
Oh, for sure.
After every haircut, so there's no hair in their ears and stuff.
Yeah.
I would offer them like a little bit of like maybe even like a scalp treatment, you know, like put some essential oils in there. Or something that'll like treat the skin, treat if they have dry skin. I would offer a lot more stuff so that they're getting something out of it, but that's part of the service. If they just want to spend $45 for a cut, then I'm just gonna do a haircut, you know? But you add those little things because, you know what, if we're gonna turn this into something, then it's gonna be something big.
Like how would you break down getting to that next level right now?
I would go to right now. Well, every service would have a specific time slot.
Yeah.
So that clients know that they're gonna. So I don't have to squeeze people in every half hour.
Yeah.
We would have more than one sink so that everybody can get a hair wash.
What's the next step to you getting closer to that goal? Specifically, just one step that you could do tomorrow that'll get you to that next point of getting to a $100 haircut where you could charge for your time.
Hot towel after every cut and shave their neck with a blade.
Okay, so you would do that right now?
Yeah. Like, I don't do it with everybody, but I would, when we first opened, I was doing that because I wanted people to come back to me. So I'd give them that little extra. But if I'm going to be charging more, then I have that time to give.
Do you think you're capable of charging $100 right now for a haircut?
Yes.
Okay,
100%.
so
Like,
if you're capable, then do you feel like you're actively working towards it?
well, I think I'm already there. It's just creating the right environment for it to happen.
So you think the environment needs to change for it to happen?
Well, look, everybody's good at cutting hair.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own style. So it's how you implement that style.
But do you think, because I don't think anybody's not there. I think it's more like, do you think you have, your clientele, is that the market that you can charge it?
No, not my clientele.
So you'd have to find a new clientele?
I'd have to find a new clientele for sure.
Okay, so
I have some clientele that tell me straight up they don't care.
Yeah.
And I know they don't because
Yeah.
they're making money. They work for a tech company, or they work in tech, or they're lawyers, so I know they got bank.
yeah.
But eventually, it's also a level of trust. You can't keep upping your price if the service stays the same. So it's like I'd have to create a certain
The brand
kind of,
appeal?
yeah, you'd have to create a certain kind of brand appeal, and that comes with the service, right? It's part of your brand.
Emily, what would you do right now to get your price to $100?
Man, I don't know, like,
Oh, you're there.
I don't know.
You got it.
Okay, remember $100, it's more about you believing that your time is worth more. It's less about the idea that you're not good enough yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more about like your vibe being worth $100 and believing that. So if you don't believe it's $100, then what's $60, $70? You said $70, $80.
Yeah.
So to get your price, or for you to give that $70 treatment, what would you do differently? And if you were going to do that tomorrow, like what would you add right now that would elevate your cut from double, basically?
Well, I don't know. I feel like like what you get with my $35 haircut is quite a bit. You know,
Yeah.
it's most of the time I'm using a straight blade on the neck. Most of the time, cold towel or hot towel. You know, like I feel like sometimes with certain clients,
Yeah.
I could maybe like try and get them to speak a little bit more, but it just happens, like a lot of my clients just like to sit there and have their haircut.
No, so that's fine. That's fine. But I'm saying, okay, so right now you're going to take your game to the next level. You'll take your game to the next level tomorrow. What are you going to do?
I couldn't think of what else I could do.
But okay, so then you're at a point right now where you can charge $70.
I
it's
don't
either
know
you
if I
have
can
to-
say that either.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well, because if you don't know that you can't charge, then there's something you can do to
Right.
make that answer.
So there's a
Wait.
block somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's either you don't believe in it, or
Well, that comes to the confidence thing,
Yeah,
right?
that's confidence.
Because there's so many barbers just in Montreal, or even hairdressers in Montreal that are so good, but they're only charging a certain amount.
yeah.
And that comes like, oh, I don't think it's expensive. You know, I remember there was one woman passed by. She wanted a job here, and she was like, "Oh, you guys are expensive." And I was like, "What are you saying? Like, what are you talking about?"
It's the culture though, because you know if you went to it's crazy. If you go to New York, if you go to San Francisco, if you go to Atlanta, if you go to Toronto, if you come to Montreal, every city has this standardized, or every neighborhood has a standardized pricing. Like if you go to New York, the average price for a haircut, in New York is like $60. But when I was in New York, what's that area called? Manhattan. I saw $15 barbershops in Manhattan, bro, and I was like, around these crazy condo buildings, I was like, yo, that's crazy. Like you just have to be chopping shop.
Well, it's
15 hours a day.
It's the catch-22. You don't want to get it, but then you have to, or else you can't pay the rent.
Yeah. So it's like,
You know, it's like
tough life, bro.
yeah, it's super. And what's crazy, I think, is that people think that you should only charge this much for a cut. I remember on Barbershop Connect, this was like 4 years ago, bro. This guy showed his client list for the day. He was charging $16 a cut, and he cut like 27 people.
Insane.
You know, so he made a lot of money, and then people were like, "Yo, why the hell are you charging $16?" You know, and then on the same thing, it's like, "Oh, max 20." It's like, what? Like,
Yeah, most barbers think though, and the problem with it too is barbers don't think. Like even pretty much all the barbers that I speak to, none of them think that you can charge more for a haircut anyway. They're like, "Nah, max is $35." You know, like
yeah, and I think
that's how they really believe that.
When I was in Australia, bro, I was charging $40 for a cut, 65 a beard, and if I used the blade, it was 70. So some guys, bro, they walk in and they leave paying 70 Australian dollars,
Yeah.
and they still tip me like $10.
They say they don't tip.
They don't. No, they would tip me because they like me. But I mean, like,
look at that, 25 cuts at $16 is $400.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's terrible.
No, it's terrible in the sense where he's not charging enough.
That's fucking tough.
25 cuts is nuts, but what he's looking at for $400, but not what it took him to get that 400.
Yeah, so that's a lot of work.
I'd rather make $600 cutting 12 people than making $600 cutting 20.
Yeah.
You know, because then I can spend time with my client. My cuts aren't being jeopardized, or I'm not cutting corners. Like, look, don't get me wrong, there are people who can cut hair in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But I believe, because I've done like those haircuts.
It depends what kind of barber you are.
Yeah.
Depends what kind of.
Depends on your style.
Yeah.
But if you're just.
It's just really, barbers don't know what they're giving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's all it is. Because it has nothing to do with. There's no standardized pricing for this, you know what I mean? Like it's pretty much a mix between art and
tech has a standardized price, right? They all said price of a phone, like a high grade phone is like $1,600.
Again, they see their thing as a business, you know?
Yeah.
And that's all.
And people will gladly pay for all made in China that's valued probably production wise at like $150.
Even less.
Or maybe even like $50 to make.
Yeah.
But they're dropping $1,600.
Yeah.
And they don't care. But then you tell them about their hair, and they're gonna argue with you.
How much are your shoes?
Yeah.
But it's okay if they argue. It's just more like, again, you gotta stand by what you're.
Yeah, it's not the argument for me. For me, it's not really the argument. It's the fact that I have to have
The argument.
have this conversation multiple times.
But you know the biggest problem, bro. You have this conversation with your client, right? But you'll have an even more heated conversation with another barber. That's the problem. That's the problem. So
well,
it's like
some people really think that.
So like somebody will argue to you about pricing, and they'll go to another barber. They'll argue to him about pricing. And be like, yeah, that's a ripoff. You know, this is what I charge. So that's where the biggest L takes place.
When barbers talk.
Yeah, because they.
I think like when people are uncomfortable with other people charging a certain price.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no. You know what? I don't give. You know, if somebody's charging $1,000 for a hair wash, power to them.
Damps.